Hi, my name's Brittany and welcome to my vlog. We are doing a follow-up to that long-ass video on how to tell your plastic surgeon what size boobs you want. Okay, so I actually went the other day. Guess it was Wednesday. So I went with a girlfriend. And when we got out of the elevator, now this is Dr. Hunsacker, and I'm going to be specific because it's kind of a unique experience. This is the second consult I've had, and I recommend that you get a handful of them, a couple, 2, 3, something like this, till you're satisfied. So we arrived at his office. I see a waiting room jam full of women. Before we go in, I see, no joke, I see a 10-foot tall, about 9-foot tall, woman with a very low-cut V-neck top and enormous cans. This is their advertising. It's great. Yeah, let's see, what else? Okay, so we go in and, typical when you go for consult, they want you to fill out a history because they want to know, if you've had any surgeries before, all kinds of stuff. It's all well done, it's well run. That's what you can expect, is to do a medical history. Once we did that, I did that, she waited for me, my girlfriend. So, waited a bit. I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, something, I don't know, jammed waiting room. A jammed waiting room is a good sign that you're in the right place. So many people cannot be wrong. There was more than one person who is doing what they call intake. So an intake rep is going to sit with you and find out exactly what it is you want to achieve, and what they're doing is they are trying to save the doctor's time by dealing with that stuff. So once that aspect of it is, looking for my water. Yes, I'm out of my mind as usual, but that's okay. And they're going to be really thorough. Now I'm going to get into this in some detail. So here we go. Now, you're typically going to send to them, if you play your cards right, you should do this. Send to them a bunch of photos. This is odd, so just stay with it. Ideally, some of these are naked. But certainly photos of women who you want to look like. Okay? In terms of projection, which is going to be out here sort of thing, and relative fullness from side to side. 1 second. Excuse me. So, in my case, for those of you who are big boob fans and watching this, you're gonna get a kick out of this. So, my choice is basically wall-to-wall boob, just like from here to here. So these implants are 16 centimeters. If you do the math, that's about, 6.5 inches in diameter. That's pretty darn large. But now in my case, because I'm a biological male, fine, I'm transgender and all that stuff, but I am a biological male, I have a larger rib cage. So, and this is important, okay? You're going to need to be getting implants that are larger than you would think you should get. Someone's going to say to you, oh, you should get 600s, or 600's kind of big, or don't be listening to any of that. Because these folks are telling you about potentially their experiences, okay, with their bodies. Okay, they may be a 34 band in the bra, okay? Which completely nullifies what you should get if you're a 40 in the band for a bra like I am, okay? So, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm gonna have huge cans, but I'm not after, like, you know, I'm exaggerating, and we'll use the water bottle for fun, okay? So, like, it's not like gonna be like this, okay? It's gonna be more like, I don't know, more like this. Just a tiny, you know, it's really not much. It's, I think my target is between 8 and 9 centimeters, and you can be accurate with these type of targets. You're gonna know what your finished product is gonna look like, because if you get up on the sites for Mentor, M-E-N-T-O-R, and Allergan, A-L-L-E-R-G-A-N, you will see the specifications in terms of projection, which is how much off the chest wall, the diameter, okay? Now, just as a general note, Mentor makes larger implants than Allergan does. Got that? Number 2, okay? Implants come in larger sizes when they are saline. Got it? Number 3, if you're going to take silicone, expect your incision length to be conservatively 3 times as long, maybe longer. You know, because always remember the silicone bags, you know, they're filled and ready to go right out of the box. I don't care, you can phrase it any way you want to make it sound better to you, but the saline ones go in empty. They go in empty. And then, you know, a nurse sits there and hands the doctor one syringe after another full of saline, and he just keeps pumping it full of saline until the chest rises, and they sit there and they just sit there and keep a tally of how much they put in. Get it? So, you know, these implants have a theoretical max fill, but it's common that the doctors go past that. In my case, I estimate he's got to go past the manufacturer's max fill of probably about 15%. That's to achieve that extra 10 to 20% needed for placing it under the muscle. Okay, because when you do that, it's going to compress the implant. It's going to basically reduce the projection you're going to get out of that implant, and it's going to give you a different look. Okay, because then you're going to be here instead of here. Okay, just to give you an exaggerated idea of the difference between what happens, you know. So you have to add extra saline. The doctor knows that. You can remind him if you want. He'll know that you're a smart consumer. That's fine. So this particular surgeon, their methodology is that they don't want to hear from you that you should get, you know, an 800cc implant or any of this stuff. I had in the back of my mind exactly what it was. Now, when I tell you this, I'm going to tell you the end of the story before basically like the middle of the story. So the end of the story was I was dead on with what I chose. Dead on, like to the part number. And I'll tell you how I got to that. Okay, so she's like, okay, let me see the photos. I had sent her a bunch more. I showed her a couple more on my mobile phone. She's like, yeah, this is big. You know, you're going to need a large implant. She showed me a couple. She's like, probably going to have to be bigger than this. Typically, the ones that I'm after, which are by Mentor, and the one you might be after if you're a typical guy size like me. I mean, you know, face it. You know, I'm 5'10.5". I'm 40 inches in the band, and while I'm in smoking good condition, and according to her, I'm thin. Which I guess technically I am because I have a washboard stomach, but I'm still a 40 in the band, okay? So the math is the math is the math. And that's an important point. You're mathematically going to figure out what size implant you're going to need based on everything I told you in the other video and I'm not going to repeat it here. So if you haven't watched that video, go watch it. It's got tons of information, and I worked my ass off on it, not only to get it the way it was, but to keep it updated. So do watch it. It is current and it is highly relevant. It's going to teach you how to figure out what your correct size in terms of cc's is going to be based on the look that you wish to achieve, and that is derived from, okay, you know, you're such and such a band size and you're such and such a cup size to achieve that. In my case, take it or leave it, believe it or not, I'm a 40H cup. So now that's just a contingent, that's just a theoretical cup size based on everything I did, and it should actually be accurate. I'll be back eventually to show you what the boobs look like, you know, in a skin tight something, so you can see. And I guess that the bra I bought is correct. Okay, you see my hands. Basically between the two of them, that is the width of one cup. I say bra cup, like on the bra. Okay, so that's pretty darn, that's pretty, you know, it's covering my face. You know, it's, I know it's kind of silly. My point is that they are wide. These cups are wide. Well, guess what? It's simple mathematics. Your cleavage is so wide, your cups have to be so wide to get you from, okay, see the pendant? The pendant is basically dead center, okay? So if you, I got my fingers here, if you go to the left and the right of the pendant, okay, maybe that'll basically give you the left and the right edge of the cleavage. So just like the pendant sort of V's down like this, that's kind of how the cleavage is going to go. And then you're doing the math, you're going, okay, 6 inches comes out to here, 6 inches comes out to here. It's simple mathematics. Okay, in the case of the Mentor, if you are closer to the nominal fill, which is the recommended fill, not the max fill, okay, the diameter is going to be slightly larger just because you can fiddle around with a water balloon, and you'll see it with a water balloon. As you put more water in it, the balloon gets taller off the table, but the diameter of what it covers when you look at it top down is actually slightly reduced. That's just the way it works out. You know, that's it. So you have a loss of about 1/2 centimeter when they are in basically full overfill, maybe slightly more. So you have 2.5 centimeters to the inch, 2.54. Do the mathematics yourself. You can figure this out. So I showed her what I wanted. Okay, so that was done. I sat for a couple more minutes. I went in. I saw the doctor. I saw Hunsaker. Now Hunsaker is one of 3 in the practice, and his forte is doing larger boobs. So I was directed to him. You know, woohoo! I can't wait. I'm telling you. My target's like around 3 months from now, which is like September, but there's a couple of things that are challenging me to get to that date. This particular doctor has a 30-day lead time, so if I call on August 1st, they'll get me in on September 1st. You might get in sooner, you never know. There could be cancellation or something like this. The operations are typically started at 6:30 in the morning. Okay, so I saw him. He's like, you know, what are you looking for? I told him, and unlike the first surgeon, which at this point shall go unnamed, you can watch the first boob video and you'll hear about that. This one took measurements and did a lot of calculations on his own. Many surgeons are more interested in what look you want because they are not used to running into people like me who potentially know as much as they do about what implant exactly is going to be chosen. That may seem like a science, but it's really not. Okay, and we're going to talk about that for a second. So, just a minute. You know, he's got the flexible tape. I talked about that in the other video. And he took some measurements, the downside of lipstick. Hopefully it's not messed up. Now I can't tell. Okay, so he took some measurements, and he got up out of his chair and goes and looks at a couple of giant, you know, these like movie poster sized wall charts from Allergan and Mentor, and he immediately dismisses Allergan because Allergan doesn't even make an implant that big. Okay, so there's a couple of things you need to know about Mentor. They both have lifetime warranties. Okay, so if something goes sour, the doctor will not charge you for another implant, but you may have a doctor's fee. Lipstick. You may have a doctor's fee that goes with it. You know, this is the roll of the dice with breast implants. Do not believe that you are walking out of his office with a new pair of cans and, you know, you just look over your shoulder and go, bye-bye, have a nice life. No, you may very well have an ongoing relationship with this surgeon or his successor. Why? Because implants sometimes need to be fixed or replaced, so be advised. Now he immediately went to the Mentor chart. He's like, he's like looking up in the top right hand corner, and this is round saline, and it's like everything is smooth as opposed to like it's got like a contour finish. You know, they do that more with the implants that kind of like go like this from the side. You know, like a natural teardrop of a breast. I don't like those. The round ones have more full on top, and I like that. You know, I like to be able to rest 2 champagne glasses full of champagne on my boobs. Thank you very much. To some degree, I'm exaggerating, but that's my preference. So it turned out he chose the exact same part number I did from Mentor, exactly the same, but the way he arrived at that conclusion may or may not seem counterintuitive to you. Okay? You really need to use the method that I showed you in the other video, because it is often the case that women are not particularly satisfied with what they get. Their expectation is this, they end up with this. And it's usually their fault because they leave too much of it in the hands of the doctor. So you're warned, alright? I guess that's it. You know, I went back and I talked to her for a few minutes. She asked me, you know, when I wanted to do this, and I told her, you know, my target date and all that, and they'll follow up with you. I think these girls are on commission. But that doesn't matter. You know, you're there for a reason. And in my case, $4,000 in and out the door, lock, stock, and barrel, as they say, with extremely low probability of being any extras. This was a full $8,000 lower than my first quote. I think it pretty much cinched the deal for me. Having such a low quote allows me to achieve the dream of going for other surgeries that I want to. Money is hard to come by, you know, and those of you who have boyfriends or whatever, they gotta pony up the money. That's great. You know, they have financing typically for this if you're going to pay for it yourself. The doctor has an interesting method. You know, once starting right after your operation is completed and your recovery, they have you lifting your arms almost in a stretch, and I'm really stretching. Okay, and when he told me this, I almost flipped because it countered everything I've ever heard about don't raise your arms and this and that. And he says, if you're getting under the muscle and you do not lift your arms with regularity of basically 6 times an hour, so basically every 10 minutes, doing that, I don't know, for, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever they tell you, you're going to have an enormous amount of tightness in your chest that's going to be debilitating, and you don't want that. You want to loosen up that chest wall, because you got these big old freaking water balloons underneath your muscle, and the muscle, although the muscle will eventually lose the battle with the water balloons, with the implants, okay, it's got to be a fight for a while, you know? It's got to be a wrestling match. The implants will win, but in order for you to speed up that winning process, you need to do this, okay? They'll go through that with you. So, good luck, and if you have any questions, if you want any more detail, anything, just ask me. Mentor has their own website, Allergan has their own website. Figure out if you want saline, figure out if you want silicone, figure out what profile you want, whether it's, the sort of ones that contour look like a teardrop sort of thing, like from the side, natural breast, or round. And, I'm going for silicone, or correction, not silicone, even though they have gummy version now. Which basically, just like if you had a cheesecake and you cut out a slice, see, cheesecake food, cut out a slice, the rest of the cheesecake stays exactly where it was, and then there's a space like where that slice that was removed from, okay, whatever. So with the gummy implants, that's theoretically what would happen. If you were to take a scalpel and cut into that implant, it would just, the rest of the implant would just stay exactly where it was. And this is to prevent catastrophe should there be a catastrophic trauma to your chest. For example, from an auto accident or getting slammed into the ground some way, shape, or form. It happens. Anyway, on a positive note, breast implants can be a lot of fun. They can change your life. They're going to change mine. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a pivotal issue for me in my transition. It has to fit in with my transition so that it's done at the appropriate time, etc. But, that's it. Again, this doctor is Hunsaker, Hunsaker. He is in Miami. If you guys want details, just drop me a line. I answer very quickly. Alright. Thanks for stopping by. I hope this video wasn't too long. Have a great day. Bye.